Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Maureen. We'll begin with our top stories. For over some weeks now, current cement has become very scarce in the market, while some fuel can be spotted in some distribution points in Yaoundé. Others have completely gone short of the building material. And Cameroon has not yet exploited the full potentials of its agric research findings to satisfy local demand with more than 22 varieties of maize species. Critics are asking what is going wrong and why the huge reliance on importation. And the extraordinary assembly of the Cameroon Medical Council organized this day in Yaoundé has been postponed for future days. This is because the number of doctors present were not up to the number expected for the General Assembly as stipulated by their constitution. And Housing and Urban Development Minister Celestin Kechakotes has frowned at the discouraging acquisition rates of low-cost houses in Gaundari in the Adamawa region. Those are major stories. Details right ahead.
Canal International.
Cement has become very scarce for some weeks now across Cameroon, while some few of these, some few bags can be spotted in some distribution points in Yaoundé. Others have completely gone short of the building material. Haisenche has the rest of that story.
It is completely empty. This is the cement section of one of the biggest distributors of the building material here at the Mvombi market in Yaoundé. The space has been vacant for a couple of days, waiting for suppliers who shall arrive, but God alone knows when. Clients in constant search of the vital construction element, but often told to go and come back later. The only thing that gives the population hope is the bold price list in front of the selling point, a board which portrays 3 different prices for the various categories: 4,600 francs, 5,400 francs and 6,200 francs for cement dynamic, CEMAF and hydro cement, respectively. These practically ties with the new price tag prescribed by the Minister of Trade a week ago. Of all the over 7 suppliers visited in the nation's political capital this Tuesday, the team of reporters are told that there is no official reason from the producers as to why the scarcity is persisting. Little retailers, on their part, say the new prices are putting them into a difficult situation, reason why they have to put a pause on the sale of cement to observe in the days ahead. Meantime, the setback is a veritable hindrance on construction projects. Not only are individuals faced with the increased prices, they are equally caught in the web of limited supply.
And common regulations for the management of waste oil from river units and port platforms in the Congo. Obangi Sanga Basin is currently under validation in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, with the validation of the waste management directives. Member states of the International Commission of the Congo Obangi Sanga Basin hope to positively affect a change in the environment protection in a Cisco space. More on that report with our reporter Gladys Ambo Ziba.
Oil spills make up about 12% of the oil that enters the ocean. The rest comes from shipping travel, drains and dumping. This waste oil pollutes the river and consequently threatens aquatic life and human health.
There's massive pollution of our inland navigational water routes. There is an upsurge in accidents due to pollution, especially when we have drifting garbage, There is poor health for the crew, the riverine population, and even for those who use some of our rivers and its tributaries for pipe-borne water supply. There's even another impact on the ecosystem. It is known that there's some fish in some parts of the Congo Basin that are no longer fit for human consumption because they have absorbed a lot of heavy metal deposits since the rivers are becoming like the natural garbage.
These, according to experts, are caused by mining industries that throw their industrial waste into the river. Member states of the International Commission on the Congo-Ubangi-Sanga Basin are meeting in Douala this April 18, 2022, to validate the Waste Management Directive for the river units and the common regulations relating to the collection, deposit, and reception of oily and greasy waste arising from the operation of the said units in secure space.
It is only normal as a regional organization to bring in our little experience in terms of technical experience, in terms of lesson learned from other basin organizations, to see how we can support our member countries to improve on protecting the environment of the basin and by implication the health of the populations that depend on the water resources and other natural resources of the basin for their livelihood.
It is expected that the validation of the waste management directives by the 6 member states, that is, Cameroon, the Republic of Angola, the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gabon, will be a major factor for change for environmental protection in secure space.
Meantime, Cameroon has not yet exploited the full potential of the agri-research findings to satisfy a local demand with more than 22 varieties of maize species. Critics are asking what is going wrong and why the huge reliance on importation. Teda Heratembe tells us more.
Agroeconomists are saying that Cameroon can produce more cereals to avoid huge dependence on importation. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine, 2 world's biggest exporters of wheat, has pushed Cameroonians to rethink on how to boost domestic production. The current dependence on huge import of wheat confirms the warning shot fired some time ago by Benan Jongang, Dr. Ayok Takem Jacobs and Dr. Tay Shaul.
I want to know what has become of the research works of crop scientists like Dr. Tay. I think his legacy must be respected.
So far, these researchers came up with at least 22 high-yield maize varieties whose potentials have not yet been fully exploited. An example is the Coca SR maize species that yields 5 to 6 tons on a hectare of land within 130 days. The research legacy of Dr. Shalte and Dr. Ayok Takem Jacob seem to have been buried. Critics of Cameroon's agricultural policy are saying Cameroon is far from succeeding if the Maputo Declaration on Agriculture and Food Security is not applied. The declaration talks of the commitment of African countries to allocate 10% of the national budget to agriculture and rural development policy within 5 years. And talking about policy, in 2021, African think tank, the Nkafu Policy Institute, noted that Cameroon must promote competitiveness of its economy and production if it has to survive in this fast-developing world. Further on that, it is an abomination that Cameroon used to export rice to other countries, but today is a huge importer of rice.
The extraordinary assembly of the Cameroon Medical Council organized this day in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, has been postponed to an unknown date. This is because the number of doctors present were not up to the number expected for that General Assembly, as stipulated by via Constitution. More with our reporter, Utmu Kusumi.
After being postponed once by the Minister of Public Health, the General Assembly of the Cameroonian Medical Council, called this April 19, has still been forwarded to future dates. This due to the fact that out of 10,430 medical doctors expected, only 165 answered present. Instead of 6,790, that is, 2/3 of the members that could permit the go-ahead. Before the postponement, leaders of the Cameroon Medical Council had explained the main objective: electing new members and reviewing the rule of ethics and deontology.
Of deontology and the internal regulations that the Cameroon Medical Council was functioning with was supposed to have been reviewed, because there was a new law in 1990 that needed to have a new code of deontology and internal regulations that had not been done for all the past years. And so the minister thought that, we should actually address these issues, because there were several doctors who were complaining.
Medical Council, they say, is there to supervise the doctors' daily work.
The main role of the Medical Council is to make sure that doctors actually carry out their profession actually applying the set obligations and responsibilities which are theirs towards the society, so that the society can have the best of healthcare.
According to these doctors, like every other sector in Cameroon, the medical sector has been touched by so many difficult situations in which doctors say it is a way to solve all these issues, but though postponed to an unknown date. The text states that the new date has to be within the time frame of 15 to 30 days from this day.
Housing and Urban Development Minister Celestine Cliquez has frowned at the discouraging acquisition rate of low-cost houses in Gaoundéré in the Damawa region of Cameroon. During the walking visit to the town, the minister disclosed that less than 50% of the houses have been acquired, and blamed this on the public real estate agents for lack of follow-up. More with our reporter Gladys Ambu Tiba.
Of the 74 low-cost houses that are up for grab in Gaoundéré in the Adamawa region of Cameroon, only 59 have so far been occupied. The houses constructed within government's 3-year development plan are still begging for buyers. Housing and Urban Development Minister Celestine Cliquez has blamed public real estate agents for failing to do their job. The occupation rate of these low-cost houses in Gaoundéré is below 50%. The rate is unacceptable. We have observed that there is lack of follow-up by the real estate company. We want the agents to tell us the problem they are facing. Apart from the disturbing occupation rates, the surroundings of most of the low-cost houses are invaded by grass. The few occupants take care of their security, while the surroundings are filled with large pools of water when it rains. The roofs are leaking. That's one of the main problems we have here. The buildings are expensive and we don't have a choice. We have been told the cost of houses at the outskirts of the town have dropped. During the working session between the Minister of Housing and the public real estate officials, the eligibility rate for the low-cost houses in Gaoundéré were reviewed. Meantime, the population believes the low-cost houses are not comfortable and affordable enough.
A massive campaign of surgery on congenital diseases of children below 18 years is ongoing in Yaoundé. The social initiative by the Cameroonian goalkeeper Andre Onana is aimed at reducing the number of children with such diseases through a surgery. More with our reporter Hyson Cha.
A smile of relief from these kids that have gone through their surgery process successfully. Many still waiting for their turn, while others are undergoing the operation by these Spaniard specialists on children with congenital diseases below 18 years. The massive free campaign is financed by Cameroonian international goalkeeper Andre Onana, an initiative many parents have greatly saluted as that which has come to help the poor.
J'ai 2 de mes enfants qui sont malades. Un avait un kyste sur le bras.
I brought my 2 children here, one to be operated on the arm.
Deuxième gonor qui lui avait une hernie.
Moi, étant maman, d'abord.
As a mother, I thank our Cameroonian brother for this. From the bottom of my heart, I say thank you.
C'est vraiment de cœur que je lui dis merci.
The 10 days drive in the nation's political capital seeks to change the situation of many children as possible without an exception. The campaign has started in Yaoundé, but it concerns all children who are sick from the national territory. The campaign, launched this April 18 in 2 private clinics at the Komkana and Gosu neighborhoods, will run till April 28.
Commander of the Douala and Naval Training Center has been officially installed into its function this day. The installation was officiated by the commander of the Joint Military Training Centers, General Philippi. More with Kejaneri Atembe.
Navy Commander Colonel Patrice Magloire Bekono is the new head of the Marines Specialized Training School in Douala. Colonel Bekono was installed on April 19, 2022 at the Douala Naval Base by General Philippi, commander of the Joint Military Training Centers of Cameroon. In a brief military ceremony, the new Commander Patrice Magloire Bekono was given marching orders to perfect the curriculum training of the servicemen placed under his command. The Naval Military Training Center will train Marine officers in electricity, welding, mechanics, and the repairs of naval equipment. Prior to his appointment on March 30, 2022, Velsey Commander Colonel Patrice Magloire Bekono was the Chief of Bureau in charge of training at the military headquarters in Yaoundé.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. We have a debrief with Lil Piégou as for me. I will be back same time tomorrow. Good night.